While it's unknown exactly how knowledge of its existence came to light, any experienced Sly 2 player should know about the Rocket and Jojo Easter egg. No, not that one. No, not that one either. Not that one either. That one. If you didn't know, you can get 3D models of Rocket and Jojo, two characters from Sucker Punch's first game called Rocket Robot on Wheels, to appear on top of the coffin of the evil wolf priestess. It's a pretty well hidden Easter egg, but here's how to see it for yourself. First, complete the job called Ghost Capture. If you don't, then the Easter egg won't work.
A few bombers should put that old charlatan in her place.
Afterwards, go back into the crypt as Sly. Note that you can't do it as Bentley or Murray since it doesn't work for them. Go to the coffin of the evil wolf priestess and take care of all the guards. Then, break the two wolf statues in the back. Jump on the leftmost pedestal, open the binocucom, and turn around to face the coffin. Look at the empty space above the coffin, and after a brief moment, Jojo's model will appear. If you use the pedestal on the right, Rocket's model will appear. It's a bit finicky and may take a few tries, but it's pretty easy. This has been common knowledge for quite a while. Heck, even the new wiki has all the same information. So it wasn't incorrect information that the new wiki's maintainers didn't choose to bring over from the fanfiction kingdom. If you look up videos, new and old, you'll find people doing the same steps. Surely all the knowledge about this Easter egg is correct, right? I mean, the steps do work, but are the steps accurate?
It's false. No way. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. It's a total fabrication. It's false. It's a fake. It's fiction. Not a chance.
Do you need to complete Ghost Capture first?
Evil.
Do you need to play as Sly? Do you need to turn the camera around? Do you even need to open the binocucom? Do you need to be on the pedestals? Do you even need to break the wolf statues? It should now be clear that this Easter egg wasn't completely understood, so I'm here to set the record straight and provide a more technical explanation of how it all works. It's stupidly simple, but somewhere along the line, the telephone game did its thing, and here's what I did to get it to work, turned into, here's the requirements to get it to work. Let me break it down for you. The answer to what's actually going on here is incredibly simple. So simple, in fact, that I don't need to do a memory deep dive like some of my other videos. Simply put, the two pedestals in the back are covered by special triggers. These two triggers are unique. None exist anywhere else in the game. These are delayed spawn triggers, which spawn a specific entity if you have been touching the trigger for a certain amount of time, then despawn the entity when you stop touching it. There are 4 important values and memory structs for these triggers. If you follow the pointer you see on screen right now, then you'll reach what I call the touch duration float. This controls how long you have to be touching the trigger in order for it to spawn its assigned entity. Both of these are set to 10 by default, and if you time it, you'll see that it indeed takes 10 seconds for both Rocket and Jojo to appear. The second value of interest can be reached by following this pointer. And I like to call it the touch timescale flow. This controls how quickly the trigger interprets the flow of time. I'm not sure why this needs to exist, since it's obviously set to 1 by default. 1 second of touching the trigger is equal to 1 second of not touching the trigger. You can change it, and it does respond like you'd expect. Set it to 2, and its recognition of the flow of time doubles, making it so you only have to touch the trigger for 5 seconds instead of 10. Set it to 0.5, and you'll have to touch the trigger for a whopping 20 seconds. The third value of interest can be reached by following this pointer. And I like to call this one the participation duration float. This controls how long the assigned entity, spawned or not yet spawned, will participate in the entire Easter egg process. This is a value of 10 by default, since it needs to be set to at least the same amount of time as the touch duration float. If it's shorter, then its assigned entity will stop participating in the process before you've been touching the trigger for the required amount of time, meaning it won't actually spawn. If you set it to longer than the touch duration float's value, then it'll stick around for extra time after you've stopped touching the trigger. For example, I've left the touch duration float at its default value of 10, but I've set the participation duration float to 12. If I spawn Rocket, then stop touching the trigger, Rocket sticks around for 2 more seconds than usual before despawning. Set it to 10, he sticks around for 10 seconds before despawning. Set it to infinity, and he never despawns. The final value of interest is not a float, but rather the ID of the assigned entity. You can find it at this pointer here. Right now, these two triggers are set up to spawn Rocket and Jojo, but any entity ID is accepted. As an example of this, I'm playing as Bentley right now. If I warp to the entrance of the crypt, you'll see that no one is here, because why would anyone be here? However, if I go back to the trigger that spawns Jojo, set its assigned entity ID to 7, and try activating the Easter egg again, Jojo won't appear. But if we go back to the entrance, Sly is here. Sly won't despawn though, because a separate process with its own entity ID takes care of that, and this doesn't change that. There's one last thing to note. While not a memory value, you might have noticed that throughout all of this video, I jump on each pedestal twice. This is because, at least according to what I can see, the programming for these triggers is potentially bugged on all releases of the game, and both triggers won't register being touched for the first time after loading into the map. This is why no YouTube video on the entirety of the internet gets the Easter egg first try. Seriously, try and find an uncut video of someone entering the crypt, jumping on the pedestal, and activate the Easter egg without needing to try again. You can't. None exist, and for this reason. It may look like some of them do get it first try, but remember that walking up to the edges of the pedestals count as touching the triggers. Anytime you see someone jump on the trigger for the first time and have it work, they touched it at least one time off camera. That's why I touched them twice in a row. If you observe these triggers' memory regions, you can confirm this for yourself, as they'll only start lighting up on the second touch. In summary, most documented information about the Rocket and Jojo Easter egg has been wrong for over 2 decades. All you need to do is touch either of the 2 triggers once, jump off, jump back on, and stay there for 10 seconds. No other steps are required. You do not need to complete any jobs. You do not need to play as a specific character. You do not need a specific camera angle. While it's not required, the Binocucom is the only way you can realistically see the Rocket and Jojo models without game modifications, with the exception of seeing Jojo's tail fly by, so it's only technically required. Note that while the trophy included in the PS4 and PS5 re-release does appear to check camera angle, the Easter egg itself does not.
There we go. I think I heard a noise that gave it away.
By the time you see this video, the new wiki will contain up-to-date information and link this video.